A very warm welcome. You're watching Biggest Exclusive tonight with me, Akanksha Swaroop. Now, the political tussle between the Shiv Sena and rebel MLAs has moved from the hotel room to the courtroom today. The Supreme Court will next hear the matter on 11th July, basically giving both the camps 15 days to gear up. However, the big takeaways from the Supreme Court hearing include the interim relief to the rebel Shiv Sena MLAs with no decision to be taken on their disqualification till 11th of July. Now, moreover, the court has asked the Maharashtra government to protect life, liberty and property of those 39 rebel Shiv Sena MLAs and their family members. Interestingly, the apex court has refused to pass any interim order on that plea that there should not be any floor test in the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly till July 11th. Now, the developments have certainly arrived as a huge shot in the arm for the rebel camp of Eknath Shinde. Yes, more.
Our reply to the notice of the Deputy Speaker for our disqualification is extended till the 12th of July.
संजय राउत ने मुझे किरीट तोमर को जितनी गालियां देनी है दे, लेकिन हिसाब तो देना पड़ेगा।
जाहिर सी बात है, अगर हिम्मत होती उनमें, अगर जनता का उनके साथ जो ताकत है वो होती तो भाग के नहीं जाते। और अगर बगावत करनी है तो चलो इस्तीफा दीजिए और चुनाव में खड़े रहिए। फ्लोर टेस्ट से पहले उनकी मोरालिटी टेस्ट लेनी जरूरी है। आंखों में आंखें देख के बातें करो, फिर बता दो।
Breaking news input coming in on the story. We are learning from our sources that Eknath Shinde will be moving the Election Commission post the floor test and the Supreme Court order to claim Shiv Sena as his party, including the symbols. This is the latest we are learning. Siddhant, if you could run us through those very rapid details that have now emerged. What are your sources telling you? Please expand on that.
Well, that's right. So now the sources are saying that there were a lot of talks that the floor test cannot happen. The parties are still with Uddhav Thackeray, and just simply passing a resolution, sitting in a five-star hotel in Guwahati doesn't make you boss of the party. So all those things are right. But right now, there's a possibility that the floor test will be cleared with the help of Eknath Shinde, as he is the boss of legislature party in the house, and deputy speaker's office has notified Ajay Chaudhary as the leader of the party. But when pro tem speaker will sit, a neutral person, then he is going to decide who is the boss of the legislature party. A. B. Eknath Shinde is definitely going to claim Shiv Sena symbol. Eknath Shinde is definitely going to claim the party. Because if he's saying, his camp is saying that we are the real Shiv Sena, the legacy of Balasaheb Thackeray and Dharamveer Anand Dige belongs to us. In that case, he has to go through litmus test at Election Commission's office. So that process will also be followed. It's a very time-taking process. That process will also be followed, but post Supreme Court order and post floor test in Maharashtra. So if tomorrow Thackerays will lose the government, then Shinde is also going to challenge them before Election Commission as party symbol and to become the boss of Shiv Sena, like not just in the house but outside the house also. Right. So that fight is also going to happen at Election Commission's office post floor test. So a lot
depends on that floor test as well. Having said that, thank you, Siddhant, for bringing in those inputs. But we have some more breaking inputs coming in from Maharashtra. Another Shiv Sena MLA is now out of reach. He's incommunicado, and the name of this Shiv Sena MLA is Rahul Patil of Prabhani, likely now to join the Eknath Shinde camp since he has been incommunicado. For more details, I have Vinaya Deshpande with me on the phone line. Vinaya, what are you learning in terms of Rahul Patil now going missing?
Well, the count's touching almost 40 now with Rahul Patil, and we've learned that he has gone incommunicado, his cell phone is not reachable, and he learned from sources close to Eknath Shinde camp that he is on his way to touch down at Guwahati, and he will soon join the Eknath Shinde camp that completes 40 MLAs from Shiv Sena of the 55 who are MLAs. So clearly that is one of the last blows possibly for Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena, as there is the 40th MLA, 40, Rahul Patil, who's an MLA from Parbhani, which is in Marathwada. Marathwada, again, one of the recent strongholds of Shiv Sena. Parbhani is known to be, one of the places where Shiv Sena had made its inroads. Now, MLA from Parbhani of Shiv Sena, Rahul Patil, already out of Uddhav Thackeray camp, moving towards Eknath Shinde. So this will be 40 MLAs in total out of the 55 that Uddhav Thackeray is set to move.
Right, so if Rahul Patil does join Eknath Shinde, which seems like a high possibility, the number is all set to reach 40 now. Thank you, Vinaya, for bringing in those latest inputs. And with that, let's now shift our attention over to what the Supreme Court hearing was like, what the key takeaways have been. Of course, this has arrived as a huge breather for Team Shinde. And this is what the implications are like. There'll be 15 days of time for the rebels to now consolidate their numbers. Remember, we're just hearing of Patil now perhaps joining the Eknath Shinde camp, bringing the number to 40 most likely. No interim stay on the floor test. Rebels to approach the governor, because now you see the floor test seems like a high possibility. Number 3 is that recognizes Shinde camp's no trust notice against the deputy speaker. That, of course, makes the whole position of the deputy speaker even more vulnerable as far as state protection is concerned for those rebels and their families. That has been ensured by the Supreme Court. Now, the rebels will be choosing between the Shiv Sena name and the Shinde's Bala Sahib pitch, which is why the Election Commission's role will be very crucial post that floor test. And so, let's also tell you about what the big question is for today. Uddhav versus Shinde move to disqualify rebels. Was that a hasty move? We will be talking about all that and more. For that, let me also introduce our guests right now. I am joined in by Varun Singh, who is a political analyst, and Sujata Paul of the Congress Party. Sujata Paul, if I may come to you first, how do you view the Supreme Court hearing today?
This has no precedent, because earlier on the precedent was that everything had to be decided on the floor of the House. After that, the Supreme Court used to intervene. But we have to respect whatever the apex court says. And now there is no interim stay. So there is the no trust motion against the deputy speaker, which has been recognized by the Supreme Court. So we will just have to wait and watch and see what happens on the floor of the House even now, because ultimately it is the rebel MLAs who have to come. But look at the irony of the entire thing. There are rebel MLAs, and we are seeing how this is going against the democracy, how the elected representatives are sitting far away from
But Sujata Paul, this is not just going against democracy, this is also going against your Maharashtra government and, of course, be it the NCP and your party itself. We are just learning that a 40th MLA might just be joining Eknath Shinde's camp. Are you not worried about these numbers now dropping further? Because remember, 11th July, that entire period is a long period of time for numbers to go down further.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. It is worrisome, not because because of the government being in danger. It is more worrisome that the enforcement directorate sends notices to to people like Sanjay Raut, who are managing the whole thing in this whole fiasco in Maharashtra. But what is questionable is, where is the ED? Why is nobody questioning where the money is coming from? If we look at what is happening, the manner in which all the media has reported that there has been a meeting between Devendra Fadnavis and Eknath Shinde, and he shoots through the night to Vadodara, and Mr. Amit Shah is also present over there. He goes back, but nobody is questioning where this money is coming from. This is your and my hard-earned money. We pay taxes. It is the people's money, and we are seeing how the mandate. Whether you say that the mandate was given to the BJP and the Shiv Sena alliance, do not forget that the Shiv Sena is expected to be subservient to the BJP, and even Eknath Shinde, you watch it and mark my words, it is the end of Eknath Shinde's
but
career.
Sujata Paul, how do you react? How do you react to those reports about Shiv Sena and the Chief Minister of Maharashtra being subservient to those intel inputs that were flagged off to him, that there is a coup in the making within his own party?
As far as that is concerned, we'll have to wait and watch, because the manner in which
there's been enough wait and watch.
No. What I want to say is that look at the manner in which people are still. You're reporting that people are still going and joining the Eknath Shinde camp. So why is it that they are going so easily? So
exactly.
Maybe this is also part of the strategy. No, maybe this is part of the strategy of the Shiv Sena. You and I can't really, question that or comment on that till we understand what is happening.
Sujata, there has been a lot of back and forth. First, there were allegations that they've been kidnapped, and now you're saying how easily are they going, because you're also seeing visuals of them cutting cake, birthday celebrations happening. They're all grinning from year to year. So I don't believe in that theory that they're being forced, or there's somebody goading them to go there. They're perfectly going there by their own will. Having said that, let me also focus on some very crucial legalities which are staring at this case right now. For that, I'm joined in by senior lawyer Mr. Vikas Gupta. Mr. Gupta, if I could bring you in, do you view any legal hurdles in the appointment of the pro tem speaker? Because now suddenly the spotlight has shifted from the deputy speaker on to the governor's role.
So, Akanksha, very important thing is that what is the need to convene the special session of assembly? Once it is due for 18th, the monsoon session has to assemble on 18th of July. So I really don't see, because BJP or Eknath Shinde group has not approached the governor.
Do you really think that both the camps can hold on till 18th of July? That's a long time. I mean, we are looking
Akanksha,
at...
That's precisely what I'm saying, that today's Supreme Court order is a win-win situation for the Uddhav Thackeray government, because that gives them the leverage and the time to create to bring back those MLAs who have gone away. I think 14 days could be a win-win situation, or could be a turning point, or the inflection point is in this whole drama.
All right, hold on to those thoughts, Mr. Gupta, because I'm also joined in right now by Sanjay Dwivedi, who's a Shiv Sena leader. Mr. Dwivedi, the disqualification of those rebel MLAs has been stayed till 11th July. How do you view today's Supreme Court hearing, and what do you intend to do if a floor test is called?
देखिए, मैं एक बार स्पष्ट कहना चाहता हूं कि माननीय डिप्टी स्पीकर ने 17 लोगों को नोटिस जारी की थी, जो कि नियमता जारी की थी। क्योंकि जब स्पीकर नहीं होता, डिप्टी स्पीकर जो होता है वो सब चीजें देखता है, पहली बात। दूसरी बात, अगर इनको लग रहा था, मेरी आवाज आ रही है आपको?
जी बिल्कुल आ रही है
आवाज। हाँ, तो अगर इनको लग रहा था कि डिप्टी स्पीकर जारी करता है, स्पीकर नहीं है, क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र में स्पीकर नहीं है। दूसरी बात देखिए, उन्होंने अगर 17 लोगों के या 16 लोगों के लिए तो जारी किया था, और उनके पास पूरे विधायक हैं, जैसा ही कह रहे हैं, जैसा फोटो भेज रहे हैं, जैसी मीडिया में खबरें आ रही, भाई हम तो मीडिया पर विश्वास रखते हैं, मीडिया में खबरें आने के बाद पूरे विधायक हैं, तो इनको कम से कम डिप्टी स्पीकर के अपने 1/3 विधायक की जरूरत है पाला बदलने के लिए, वो लाके यहाँ पे स्पीकर के सामने पेश कर देते हैं, वो चलेगा सुप्रीम कोर्ट। इसका मतलब क्या है? भाई सुप्रीम कोर्ट आप जाएंगे, वहां पे तारीखें लगेंगी, वो तो महीना भर बीत जाए, 2 महीने बीत जाए, तो इससे तो गवर्नमेंट नहीं बन पाएगी ना गवर्नमेंट गिर पाएगी। आप जो लोग कह रहे हैं साहब गवर्नमेंट अल्पमत में आ गई है या शिवसेना संगठन टूट गया है, तो ये तो कहना बिल्कुल लाजमी नहीं लग रहा मुझको। अगर आपको भाई आप सीधे कहाँ पे आएंगे? अब ये तो हम पूरा महाराष्ट्र सरकार जो है,
पर द्विवेदी जी वहाँ तो डेप्यूटी स्पीकर की पोजीशन खुद को ही चैलेंज की जा रही है, तो डेप्यूटी स्पीकर कैसे यहाँ पे ये बदलाव ला सकते हैं? भाई आपको ये बात क्यों नहीं समझ में आ रही है?
नहीं, आपकी समझ में आना चाहिए कि एक बार बिना डिप्टी स्पीकर था, स्पीकर नहीं था उस स्टेट में, वो बीजेपी की वहाँ गवर्नमेंट थी, स्पीकर ने पूरे फैसले किए थे। ये भी उदाहरण मौजूद है, आप पता कर लीजिएगा।
अच्छा, ये खबरें आ रही हैं कि आपके एक और एमएलए राहुल पाटिल जो है एकनाथ शिंदे का कैंप ज्वाइन करने वाले हैं। 11 जुलाई तक आप अपने एमएलए को कैसे बचाएंगे?
नहीं, मैंने क्या कहा, मैं जो कहना चाह रहा हूँ वो आपने शायद सुना नहीं।
नहीं, मैंने बहुत साफ सुना। मेरे सवाल बहुत है, वक्त बहुत कम है, इसलिए आप जल्दी से मेरे इस प्रश्न का जवाब दीजिए।
मैं इसीलिए जवाब दे रहा हूँ आपको कि अगर उन्होंने आपको बुलाया था तो आप आगे डिप्टी स्पीकर के पास आके जो है अपने 35 विधायक दिखा देते, 40 दिखा देते, 50 दिखा देते, एक आपको अर्धदल की मान्यता मिल जाती। मान्यता मिलने के बाद सरकार होता अकाउंट में आ जाती, तो ऑटोमेटिक सरकार गिरेगी, फ्लोर टेस्ट में गिर जाएगी सरकार। लेकिन अभी तो आप खुद ही खेल खेल रहे हैं, आप भागे आसाम घूम रहे हैं, कभी सूरत घूम रहे हैं, तो ये जो आप खुद दिक्कतें पैदा कर रहे हैं ना। और जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के इशारा कर रही है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी उनको इशारा दे रही है, ऐसे करिए ऐसे करिए। अरे अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार बनानी है तो लाइए रोड पे स्पीकर सामने रखिए, अलग दल बन जाए की मानता। लेकिन क्यों नहीं करना चाह रहे हैं, क्यों समय बर्बाद कर रहे हैं जनता का? नहीं, समय बर्बाद नहीं करना चाहिए ना।
द्विवेदी जी, आप मुझे मेरे प्रश्न का तो उत्तर दीजिए। आप अपने एमएलए को कैसे बचाएंगे? 11 जुलाई तक बहुत कम टाइम है आपके लिए, और एक एक करके सारे एमएलए आपके जा रहे हैं। मेरी आवाज नहीं सुनाई दे रही आपको?
अभी मुझे कैसे पता मेरे एमएलए जा रहे हैं? मैं फोटो देख के तो एमएलए गिनूंगा नहीं भाई।
39 वहाँ ऑलरेडी बैठे हुए हैं, 40वां भी शायद जाने को है।
सुन तो लीजिए, अरे भाई सुन तो 39 को लेके यहाँ स्पीकर सामने आ जाते हैं। 39 को लेके स्पीकर सामने आए, स्पीकर को वहां भेजा जाए, स्पीकर क्या समझाएगा पार्टी? कभी ऐसा हुआ है क्या? अरे आप
Varun Singh, you hear what Mr. Dwivedi has to say. How do you react to his claim of how the position should have actually been managed by the Deputy Speaker and that the matter should not have really reached the Supreme Court? How do you assess what he's saying?
So, let me tell you, Mr. Dwivedi probably was as confused as the party currently is. Article 181 categorically says that a person against whom a no confidence motion made by the speaker or the deputy speaker, he cannot take decisions. So, and the legality that is going in the Supreme Court is specific to this legal point, whether a person, a deputy speaker against whom a no confidence motion has been moved, can he disqualify MLAs? There is no stop on having a floor test. And the governor, in its all right and might, can call a floor test the moment he feels that the CM or the leader of the House.
All right, Varun, hold on to those thoughts because remember, there have been some very fast-paced developments now coming in. We are learning. We've actually accessed that crucial Supreme Court order copy of that political fiasco matter. And let's also go through all those details which have been shared in this Supreme Court order, because I believe the role of the governor has been expanded at length in this Supreme Court order, and it clearly indicates that now the ball is in the governor's court. If any faction goes to the governor for floor test, then he's free to exercise his authority. Remember, a lot of questions were being raised as far as the governor's role is concerned. For more details, let's quickly go across to our legal correspondent Ananya Bhatnagar, who's joining us live. Ananya, if you could expand on what the Supreme Court order's copy says.
Well, yes, the Supreme Court order is very, very clear that the time that has been granted to these lawmakers for filing their response over the disqualification notices has been extended till 12th of July. Remember that the hearing would be taking place on the 11th of July. That the one-day gap has been given out in order to exercise any kind of legal remedies, or in case any of these MLAs are in fact aggrieved after the Supreme Court hearing, so they can pursue a legal remedy, or they can approach or find out any kind of indulgence into these orders. Secondly, the court has directed for providing adequate security to, in fact, these lawmakers, and Mr. Rahul Chitnis, who is the standing counsel for Maharashtra, has agreed to this demand, saying that the same would be granted in accordance with laws and the rules for security. Apart from that, what we clearly know is that the Shinde campaign is trying to go for a floor test, and there is no bar under the law that there cannot be a floor test into the same, but then it will then change the whole factual and legal matrix of this whole case, and there might be a chance that as soon as the floor test is ordered, the Uddhav Thackeray camp would definitely move the topmost court of the country, challenging this floor test. So a lot of legal nitty and gritties into this whole case have emerged out as the Supreme Court has passed this interim order extending the time granted to these lawmakers to file their responses. Studios.
Right, Ananya, also like to ask you about how the governor can actually now take further action regarding the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly or not.
But yes, the governor has to. The governor can basically now direct for a floor test, but only after one of the faction approaches the governor to conduct a floor test into the same. There is no bar on him apart from the Supreme Court that he cannot conduct a floor test or he cannot direct a floor test. He can, in fact, appoint a pro tem speaker and then, in fact, go for a floor test into the same. But this doesn't come into question because both the sides are before the topmost court of the country. And if at all a floor test is ordered, then the pro tem speaker is appointed. Then there would be a question as they've already challenged the validity of the deputy speaker, and then a pro tem speaker would be appointed. So there would be a legal question that would be involved into this whole matter. So we'll have to wait and watch how things pan out in the due course of time, whether a floor test takes place and whether, if at all a floor test takes place, will the Uddhav Thackeray camp move the topmost court of the country, challenging the same. Studios.
All right, Ananya, thank you for bringing in those inputs. On that note, let's also try and get in a sense of what it looks legally. For that, let's quickly go across to Vikas Gupta, who's a senior lawyer. Mr. Gupta, if you could throw light on the whole process of appointing the pro tem speaker, do you see any legal hurdles ahead?
Akanksha, the very basic fact that nobody has approached the governor till date. So there's no question of convening the special session of assembly for a floor test, because either the BJP along with the Shinde group has to approach the governor. It is to the satisfaction of the governor. Governor has to be fully satisfied.
Right,
that
but
this
Mr. Gupta, I'm saying under the possibility. In the possibility that the governor is going to be approached, because reports have already trickled in that Shinde's camp is now all set to approach the governor. So that's a possibility we are already considering.
And let me tell you, remind you one thing, there's no question of pro tem speaker because there is no bar on the deputy speaker by the apex court in today's order at all. What they have all said is that as far as the disqualification verdict is concerned, there's a stay till 11th of July, and there is not a whisper against the powers of the deputy speaker. So as long as the pro tem speaker question arises when it is the first time the assembly is convened, here there is a speaker. In the absence of a speaker, the deputy speaker assumes the role of a speaker, and the governor can't appoint a pro tem speaker for conducting a floor test. He has to go with the speaker only, and if that at all the governor makes it, it has opened to for either party to approach the Supreme Court if they so desire.
Right, on that note, let me take my next question from Sanjay Dwivedi, who's from the Shiv Sena. Mr. Dwivedi, अगर आपकी पार्टी को फ्लोर टेस्ट पे जाना पड़ता है तो क्या आप प्रिपेयर्ड है उसके लिए? आपकी पार्टी की प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी कह रही हैं कि फ्लोर टेस्ट की पॉसिबिलिटी गलत है और वो नहीं हो सकती जब तक काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स नहीं अप्रूव करते हैं. आपका क्या कहना है?
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा है कि फ्लोर टेस्ट में हम कहाँ जा रहे हैं और हम क्यों फ्लोर टेस्ट की मांग करें? जो नहीं, वो तो जाहिर सी बात है कि फ्लोर टेस्ट की मांग आपकी तरफ से नहीं आएगी, वो दूसरी कैंप से आएगी. क्या आता है उस पर चर्चा की जाएगी. हमारा एनसीपी कांग्रेस शिवसेना बैठ के चर्चा करेगी. इसमें कोई मतलब थोड़ी ना है कि हमें तो जब कोई ऐसा चीज आती है, आज भी सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ऐसा आदेश नहीं दिया है कि डिप्टी स्पीकर नहीं कर सकता है या डिप्टी स्पीकर अधिकार नहीं है. मैं पहले भी आपको बता चुका हूँ, अगर स्पीकर नहीं है तो डिप्टी स्पीकर का पूरा अधिकार स्पीकर वाला होता है. मैंने पहले भी उसमें बात कही थी, वही अभी हमारे माननीय एडवोकेट जी ने बात कही है. तो इसमें कोई मतलब भी अब हवा में खाली पकवा पका हम लोग, उससे क्या फायदा है भाई? अगर उनके पास 37 विधायक थे, 39 विधायक थे, तो डिप्टी स्पीकर सामने लाते और अपना परेड कराते, देखते, वो ओके करते और अपनी पार्टी में. किसने मना कर, कौन मना कर रहा है? वो क्यों टाइम बढ़ाते चले जा रहे हैं? भाई इनको सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाने की जरूरत नहीं थी. भाई जो काम होना है वो फ्लोर पे होना है, विधानसभा में होना है, डिप्टी स्पीकर के सामने होना है. तो उसके लिए अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट जा रहे हैं, तो ये तो मतलब आप चीज को बढ़ा रहे हैं. कि और धीरे धीरे और बढ़ती चली जाए। भाई 7 दिन में 8 दिन हो गए आज, आपको तुरंत भाई जनता का भी हानि हो रही है ना, आज किसानों की भी दिक्कत है ना। अब सरकार ऐसे तो सरकार हम लोग अपना काम करना शुरू कर दिया, क्योंकि हमें किसान देख के दिखाई, जनता दिखाई पड़ रही है वहां पे। ये तो चलता रहेगा, मैंने सिस्टम बना दिया है, सिर्फ सिस्टम मैंने बना दिया है। तो ऐसा काम होता है, अगर आपके पास है तो आप लाइए, नहीं है मना करिए आप, जैसे राजस्थान में हुआ।
द्विवेदी जी, आप मुझसे बात कर रहे हैं और आप जैसे बात कर रहे हैं उसी टाइम पे हम ये विजुअल्स देख रहे हैं। बीजेपी की बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग चल रही है अभी देवेंद्र फडणवीस के घर पे। क्या कहना चाहेंगे आप? बीजेपी तो तैयारी कर चुकी है लग रहा है।
नहीं, बीजेपी तैयारी कर चुकी नहीं कर चुकी है, और बीजेपी बताएगी ना। बीजेपी पूरा खेल है ये तो बीजेपी का पूरा खेल है ना। तो इसमें तैयारी क्या करनी, बीजेपी तैयारी वो शुरू कर रही है। उसे किस तरह से सरकार तोड़नी है, 2.5 साल 3 साल से लगी हुई थी सरकार तोड़ने के लिए, सरकार नहीं तोड़ पा रही है।
Sujata Paul, if I can bring you in on this, how do you react to reports that it was on the insistence of Sharad Pawar that Uddhav Thackeray held back his resignation not once but twice? There are also critics commenting that it is a move only to consolidate the position that is held by the allies, be it the NCP or the Congress.
Not at all. You know, it is the time to get together and fight the dirty politics of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And now, you know, when the governor's role is coming into play, do you remember what happened in November of 2019? Now, how many people are going to be trusting the governor? He's on a constitutional post, and I hate to say this, but every action of his is going to be questioned. The manner in which that oath-taking ceremony had taken place of Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP with the BJP. So the BJP has been crumbling in Maharashtra. BJP has been backed up by Mr. Amit Shah and Modi ji from the center, and that is why every action today reeks of this, you know, this filth in politics that we are seeing, which is really sad. And of course, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis has tried very hard. Now, when it comes to Mr. Sharad,
I'll come to you, Varun.
Please complete.
Right.
When we talk about Mr. Sharad Pawar having, you know, stopped Mr. Uddhav Thackeray from giving his resignation, etc. These are all. Can you please keep quiet? I didn't speak in between. These are all conjectures. But the point is that we will stand by the government that we formed in Maharashtra. So whether it is the NCP and the Congress, we have made it very clear that we will stand together in this fight till the very end.
But Sujata Paul, that's all that's happening right now from the allies. You're only standing like bystanders and watching like mute spectators. What else has happened as far as allies are concerned? Having said that, let's be judicious. I only have 1 minute to go ahead, and I'll let Varun actually have his closing thoughts on the show. Varun, please go ahead.
Thank you. Article 174 gives the governor the power to call in assembly, and Article 181 of the Constitution clearly bars the speaker or the deputy speaker to not preside with a resolution for removal when any of this is going on. And let me tell you the audacity of the Congress leader. They cannot handle their own house, 44 MLAs in MLC election. They cannot even elect one of them in the first preference, and they are talking about an alliance. They are the biggest
this is the manner in which the BJP is going to form a government in Maharashtra. Look at the sad state of affairs of the BJP, that they have to stoop to this level of dirty politics.
If emergency was imposed by someone else, not by the Congress.
Of Shiv Sena
Let me tell you, the flow test will happen. The BJP has scared, and soon these MLAs will be
ED doesn't question them. Where is this money coming from? The ED must answer as well. It is Mr. Amit Shah who needs to answer. How are these people flown?
Answer that, Varun. How do you respond to the ED summons going again to, how do you respond? Okay, I'm running short of time. Unfortunately, I couldn't touch on that whole aspect of the ED summons going to Sanjay Raut. Having said that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that very interesting discussion. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break.